Welcome back to the Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Aponte, where we will hear stories of incredible people thriving against all odds. And my hope is that we can all see how life is always happening for us, even when we are the less than 1% chance. Hey, welcome back to Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Aponte. I hope you're doing fantastic. I am so excited. This would be, in the time of the recording, the last episode of the year of 2023 when I launched this amazing podcast. I am so excited just to look back a little bit. And this is what I want to focus this episode on, is really take a look back at this year a little bit, so that, granted, I've had my personal own ups and downs throughout the year, and it's so easy to get fixated on looking at all the things that went not the way that we wanted. However, how amazing is it to be able to look back and even look at month by month what things made a difference in our lives and what things were memorable moments and what things did we get from that day, that month, this year. I posted it on Facebook, and I did it on Facebook only because on Instagram you can't post pictures under a post. So I did it just on Facebook, and it was simply saying, show me a picture where you were completely happy this year and nothing else mattered but that moment. And so I started with my own pictures. And as I was going month by month, I was like, oh my God, that was January. Oh my God, that was February. Oh goodness, that was March and April and May and June and July and August, September, October, November. I've had amazing moments throughout every single month of this year. What a blessing. That is so amazing and so exciting, because we so much get fixated on the things that didn't go so great and forget to feel the gratitude and the blessings that we got throughout the year. So I wanted to give you a few of my moments that truly made a difference in my life. There were some huge vision board moments, and it really set the tone for just feeling this immense sense of gratitude as I end this year and start next year. And I would love for you to be able to do the same thing. I would love for you to be able to reflect back on the things that happened this year, good and bad, right? Because we have to look at the things that didn't go so great and what did we learn from them? Because everything has a lesson to be learned. And whether it was something that you wanted to happen and it didn't go our way, or something that was so unexpected and you weren't prepared for it and we still got something out of it. I really feel like when we feel like those moments keep happening, it's life trying to teach us a lesson. And you've heard me talk about this before, the feather, the brick, and the Mack truck. It's life just giving you that little nudge, right? They're feeling that feather and you brush it off and you're like, leave me alone. It's a feather. And then that we don't pay attention. And then the brick comes through our window and we're so fixated on the hole in the window that we forget to look at the brick that came through with a sign from life and saying, hey, wake up. And then we're so fixated on the thing that's broken on the window that life is like, all right, you don't want to listen. I'm going to make sure that you listen and listen good. And life puts a sign on the very front of a Mack truck and we feel that Mack truck hit us and we are like, where did this come from? There was lessons along the way that we weren't paying attention to. And it was life's way of saying, you gotta learn this lesson. It's happened to me many times, and obviously not with the same lesson. And sometimes the same lesson just needed to learn it a different way. And when we go back on things that we've learned, it's kind of life's way of saying, hey, you already learned this, wake up, because you don't need to continue to experience this over and over. So I wanted to do a reflection kind of episode today, and just like what the feeling of each of those moments that I'm going to talk about were, and really, really, truly feel that immense sense of gratitude for the things that I experienced this year, because there was so many. And I'm looking up. If you're watching the video on YouTube, I'm looking up because I keep my vision board right up on, like, above my desk. And so I'm looking up at my vision board, and I've already put the vision board that I created for 2024. But that's where I had my vision board. And those were things that I saw for 2023 every single time. And as I look up and I'm looking at my new vision board, I'm seeing so many things that I would like to see happen, and so many things that just feel so right. And I can only hope for enough growth in myself, because I am not the person that those goals need me to be yet. And that's what I strive for, is to continue to get better so that I match the energy and the person that those goals need me to be in order for me to be able to achieve them. So let's start back in January of this year of 2023. And one of the big moments that started off my month and my year was, so for Body, as you guys already know, I partner with Beachbody, which used to be called Beachbody, now is called Body. But I partner with them, and I am on what we call a market council. So every time they do a live event, I am part of the team that puts those live events together for the area of Orlando. And so I feel very blessed. I feel like I manifested that years ago, and I've worked with some incredible, amazing people. I've got to meet some of the most coolest super trainers. And this year, in January, I got to be on stage with our super trainer, Joel Freeman. It was definitely one of those like pinch me moments. I was like, I cannot even believe that this is happening right now. There's probably a few other super trainers that I would like to share a stage with. I feel blessed because he was actually the second trainer that I had shared a stage with. The first one was Autumn Calabrese, and that was a few years ago. And that was amazing as well. I love Joel. Joel is seriously one of my favorites, and he is so down to earth and so just a cool guy. I have had interactions with him in the past as well, and it's just been so amazing. So I got to share the stage with him. I was one of the people on stage doing a live workout in front of like 200 or so people, which was amazing. The energy is so like incredible. So that was like one of my big moments in January. I have one other one that was really, really memorable in January, and that was, I took my kids to Utah to visit some friends, and they got to see snow for the very first time, and I got to experience that with them. I didn't see snow until I was in like my late 30s, and so the fact that I was able to like be there when they experienced snow for the first time, and we had so much fun and played and did all the things. It was just so amazing. And so I really truly feel like that was a very memorable moment. I think that my next goal for that is to take my oldest, because she didn't come with us that trip, but my two youngest saw snow for the very first time in Utah. And that is like the most beautiful place to be able, that was where I experienced snow for the first time. So I loved that that was theirs as well. So that was my January and was amazing to begin with. So 2023 started off incredible. And then in February, we went on a couples trip. We've done this for 2 years in a row now. Danny and I went on a couples trip with some of my friends that I've met with Body to Utah, and we went to a ski resort in Bryan Head, Utah. It is spectacular, beautiful. We had so much fun. The significant others get along so well, and it's just such a great group of people. We have so much fun playing games, and that was definitely my most memorable, was our couples retreat. So moving along to March. So this is funny. In a span of like 42, 43 days, I flew into Utah 3 times. So the first was to take the kids to see snow. The second was for the couples retreat in February. And in March, I flew into Utah to go to a retreat in Idaho, because we flew into Utah and then drove up to my upline's cabin in Idaho. Oh my gosh. When I say this is like dream status kind of cabin in, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's in Island Park, Idaho. We spent some amazing days in there, got to meet some newer partners on our team, and it was absolutely incredible. We played in the snow. At one point, we were leaving the front of her house, and we had come in through the garage because the snow was cleared out, but the entrance of her house had not been cleared out. And so we ventured off from the front of the house, like to the driveway, and the snow like was at my waist, I would say. And I'm short, but that's still like a lot of snow. And it was just so much fun. We had just such a blast, and we connected with amazing people, and honestly, I got to see some of my best friends. So that in itself was pretty incredible. So we did the Idaho retreat. My son went to prom, and that was such an awesome moment. Or I feel like the first time he got to dress up in the way that he wanted, in the way that was true to himself, and it just it I just saw like a different side of him, that he felt seen and heard and accepted, and he just looked amazing. He just looked amazing. So at the very end of March, starting into April, every year I've earned a trip that, because I've been helping people all year long, I can go. I think so that we've done a cruise before. We've done Punta Cana for a few times and Mexico a few times. So this year was in Mexico. So we went on our Mexico trip that I've earned with Body, and that was awesome. We stayed at like the upper scale hotel because we had a choice between two. They were both amazing, by the way, but we stayed at the upper scale one, and it was just such amazing connection with everybody. We got to work out with the trainers in that one. Okay, so our first super trainer that I worked out with was Lacee Green, which she is one of our newer super trainers. She is amazing, and her energy is like no other. And we did the first workout, and when that was happening, that month of March, we had launched a program called For Beginners Only, and she was the super trainer for that. And in that program, my daughter did like most of the days with me, and so we would post on social media the videos of her and I doing the workouts together, and I would tag Lacee, and Lacee kept commenting and seeing like the post of me and my daughter working out together. And so when she saw me like after the workout, she saw me and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you and your daughter, I've been watching you. That's been awesome." And so I videoed a message from Lacee to my daughter saying that she was so proud of her. It was just such an amazing moment. And then she looks at me and she's like, "You should be on stage with me tomorrow." And I was like, "What?" Oh my gosh. Okay, so if it was awesome in January to be on stage with Joel in front of like 200 people, I was in front of like 1,000 people on stage with Lacee the next day. It was incredible. I could not even believe it. It was like a vision board moment, something that I would have never imagined. The energy, if 200 was a lot, the energy from like over 1,000 people was insane. And just looking back, that just felt so good. And I was not at my fittest. I was dealing with hormones and all the crazy stuff, and I still got on there and I still like did like this amazing, I felt like it was a huge accomplishment. I went through that workout and I tried not to modify, and it was just so cool. It was just the coolest feeling. And then after like straight after that, we had a excursion, and so I had to rush out of there, and it was just a lot of fun. Overall, so amazing. So that we had that was in like March, beginning of April. We got back at the very beginning of April, and 2 days later we closed on our house. So we bought a house in April. We got everything moved in. Danny and I totally like tag team that move, and we got it all in here, and it was just awesome. It was awesome. We moved in. This is where I made my office area, and it's just been so amazing to be able, like, did we have ups and downs with the house at the beginning? Absolutely. Like, however, we had a house because in the interim of that, we had to kind of split up house just because we have 3 dogs. My mom does not allow dogs in her house, so he couldn't stay at my mom's house with us. And then there was not enough space for us to stay at his parents' house, so he stayed with the dogs at his parents' house. I stayed with the kids at my mom's house, and so for like 4 months we were living apart, and it was the craziest thing after living together for years. So anyways, so we did that was at the April, and the move came with a lot of craziness, but we had our house, we were living together again, and it just felt so amazing. Then in May, I went to a trip to St. Louis for a mindset conference. And I know you guys have heard of this mindset conference before, because the reason that I have this podcast and that you're listening to this podcast was because of that mindset conference. So I was actually asked to be on a panel on stage for that conference, because I've worked, very closely with my mindset coach, and so he wanted to get my testimonial on especially what I really focus on in the things that I've learned from him, that life is always happening for you and not to you. And so, I really, that was a vision board moment as well, to be on stage with him and a couple other ladies. And it was just so amazing. I felt honored. And from that mindset conference, he really urged us to come up with a massive action on a goal that we have. And thus, we have Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast, because that was my massive action moment for my goal. June 1st, I launched my podcast, and I am like still in shock that it's been like 7 months now since I launched the podcast, and it's taken off. It's been so rewarding. It's been so incredible. I've spoken to so amazing people, and there will be so many more to come in the coming year. I'm just so excited, and I feel super blessed that this has been a part of my journey this year, because on my vision board for 2023, I had a microphone on there symbolizing starting a podcast, and I did it. That was one of the things that I checked off of my vision board, and it felt so amazing. Like, I can't even believe that I'm still here, that I have a podcast, that I'm recording this, and it's been already more than half a year doing this. It's just been incredible. I can't even believe it. Also, in June, we went to San Antonio for our annual summit conference with Body, and I got my team together, and we had just an amazing, huge team dinner together, and it was just it's just so cool to see my team grow, and seeing the energy that coming together brings to a team and to the people that are like going after goals. It's just so awesome, and I feel so blessed that these amazing, incredible people have picked me to do this journey with, picked me to be their leader, and it's just so awesome, and I feel so incredibly blessed. So that was in San Antonio, which, by the way, I had never been to San Antonio, and that was definitely on my places that I wanted to visit since 2009. Because in that year, in the company that I used to work with, I had that territory, and I wanted to go so bad to visit that destination, and I never got a chance to. So I checked that off of my list, and we're going again this coming year. So I'm so excited because I get to explore some more. So there was that in June. In July, my son turned 18. I have officially 2 adult children, and I don't know what to do with myself, because like, I can't even believe it. I don't even feel I'm my age. How is it that I have 2 adult children? I can't even believe it. It's mind-blowing to me, and I can't wrap my head around it yet, but it's there. It's happened. We're in that point of our lives right now. So that was a huge moment, and we had so much fun on his birthday. In August, one of my leaders hit a huge milestone in the business, and honestly, I think that's really one of my most favorite things, that I am more excited about their growth and my team's growth, and my team hitting their goals, than what I've hit in my business. Like, it just makes me so excited to see them grow as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as people in general, and see like where they start and how they are right now, and the progression of their journey. It's just such an amazing feeling. And when she hit that, I boohoo cried, because I know how excited, know how much she worked for it. And it just, it made me so incredibly happy to see her succeed. And that just, I want to help more people hit their goals, and really progress as an entrepreneur. So that was my August big moment. In September, my baby, my youngest, turned 15. Oh my gosh, I can't even. She is just, she's so incredibly gorgeous, and like, I wish, as a mom, I wish that my kids saw themselves through my eyes, and how incredibly proud I am of the people that they are. And it's so amazing. And so she turned 15, and we had a birthday party for her, and it was just, I still can't even believe that this is a thing, that my kids are 15 and older. 2 of them are adults. I can't even. So we had that at the end of of September, I had my first what we call mint flight, which in the JetBlue world, it is like the seats that lay completely back, basically business class type seats. So I did my first mint flight when I went to LA. So I got to LA like the very last day of September and was there to help my upline with her baby while she did this really important meeting. And so I was there for a few days, but I went to LA. I hadn't been in a very long time and got to see a different part of LA because what I had originally seen the first time, I was not a fan. But I loved it. It was gorgeous. We stayed in a really nice area. I got a chance to like love on her baby, and that was awesome because again, I love babies so very much. So that was my first mint flight in September, and then beginning of October, obviously it was LA. My nephew was born in October, so Ezekiel was born the 2nd of October, so at the very beginning, and we got to meet him, and it was amazing. At the end of October, my son got his driver's license, so finally got him driving by himself, which was such an accomplishment. Such an accomplishment. And then November, we had a team retreat in Arizona, which I got to go to. And it was just, again, vision board, check off the list kind of moments because I've always wanted to visit Arizona and I was able to do that. And that was just awesome. So many things happened during that trip, and I got to see again some of my very best friends, which was amazing. And so that was November. And then December, we had at the beginning of the month Danny's kids and my one kid, the other one was working, but we went to Disney Springs, and that was just such an awesome moment. We did a scavenger hunt together, which was awesome. And that was just such a good moment. I went to my niece's wedding. So my niece got married. So I'm just looking to focus on all of the amazing things. Did crappy things happen in between? Absolutely. Am I going to focus on that? No, because what focus on expands. What you focus on expands. So I turned 41, so that's always a huge blessing. So December 16th is my birthday. I turned 41 years old. Super blessed because I didn't think at 32, I didn't know if I was going to turn 33. That was the year that I was dealing with cancer. So it's so amazing that I've made it this far. Like, I know that sounds dramatic, but it truly is amazing that I've made it this far. So all the birthday celebrations that I had during the week of my birthday were amazing. And then this past weekend, Christmas was incredible. I completely unplugged and maybe showed up in my stories on social media, but other than that, like I was not any more places than present in what was happening in my immediate family and what was happening where I was. And I was so present in the moment that I didn't take a ton of pictures, and that I was completely okay with that. And so with all of that, I really wanted to take this moment to really reflect on those things. Look for the moments, even if it's in pictures or going back and through your mind, going through every month, and what could we find in every month, at least one thing that was like take our breath away kind of moment, or a moment that we're just completely happy that nothing else mattered except for that present moment. And I really want to encourage you to be able to do that so that we know what we need to focus on going forward. Know that we need to focus on all of the good things that are happening in our life so that more good things happen, and focus on the feeling that those things bring to us, because that's what's going to make the difference. I really truly hope that in this year, this podcast has given you a little bit of hope and understanding that life is always happening for you and not to you, and I hope that you remember that no matter what part of life you are experiencing right now, you're not alone. And we all go through the ups and downs, and we all have to deal with different situations. But the fact that we can focus on the good so that we can stay in that feeling and that energy of the good things, the more that we will be able to experience more good things, because we will be able to see more good things when that's what we're focusing on. When we focus on things that are going bad, believe me, because I've had my moments as well, more bad things just continue to happen because we're in that yucky energy. And so let's get in an energy of abundance this year. Let's get in the energy of hitting some goals, and really focusing on what's going to make us feel great. I want to focus on that this year. I am making this year a year that I focus really on everything that makes me feel great. I have big goals for Against All Odds podcast. I truly want this to be hit the hearts of many, because I know that we all go through things, and sometimes we feel alone, and sometimes we feel like this isn't like, why are we even doing the things that we are doing? Why are we even pushing to succeed? Why is all like, is it even worth it? And I'm here to tell you that it is. And I hope this podcast sheds light on the fact that against all odds, you can be your happiest against all odds. You can achieve your goals against all odds. You can overcome so many things and succeed and strive for more. And it's okay for you to be successful and still want more. I just want to make a bigger impact on this world. I feel like I've survived everything that I have, and I'm still here, and I'm still present, and I'm still learning, because someone else needs to hear my story so that they can feel like their story matters enough to continue to push forward, to continue to strive for better. And I feel like that's my life's mission and the legacy that I want to leave. I hope that this served you in a way that will spark a little bit of curiosity in what you can focus on that happened great in 2023, so that we can focus on 2023 was amazing. Let's make 2024 even more incredible. And so I want to see that. I want to see that in your story, and I want to hear about it. So if you share this on your social and tag me in it, I would love to hear your story, maybe chat with you a little bit more about your own story and your Against All Odds stories as well. If you are ever interested in chatting a little bit more about that, you never know, maybe I will interview you on this podcast. Please go review the podcast, give it some love if it has served you in some way this year. And I really truly feel blessed that I get to chat with you on a weekly basis. I want to thank you so much for all of this love and support that I've gotten over this past year, this past 7 months that we have launched, and just continue to try to put something out there every week that can make a difference in your life. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a amazing rest of your day. Peace out. Love your life. Bye-bye.